These are the notes for section 7.4, and we've been talking about monomials in the last couple of sections, and a polynomial looks really similar, only it's a combination of monomials. You should have your textbooks open to page 424. The definition of a polynomial is a monomial or the sum of monomials. Now, if you have a sum of monomials, each monomial in that sum is called a term, and I'm going to show you that down below. A binomial is the sum of two monomials. And a trinomial is the sum of three monomials. Now, before we move on, when we start talking about sums of monomials, sum means addition, but we will see some subtraction, and that's okay because subtraction is the same thing as adding a negative, so it's still a sum, it just has a negative in there. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at these examples and determine, are they monomials, binomials, trinomials, or neither, or are they a polynomial? So I actually want you to cross off this part, the monomials, binomials, and trinomials, and I want you to write polynomial. Now, we know from the word polygon that poly means many, so it's many nomials or many terms or polynomials. Okay, so take a look at the first one. We have 4y. Is that a monomial? Yes. How about 5xyz? Yes, that is also a monomial. And they are being subtracted, which we decided earlier is the same thing as adding a negative, so this is okay. Yes, this is a binomial because it has two terms. Now, because this is one monomial and this was the other, it has two terms. Each of these is a term. Okay, look at the next one. Remember that whole or real numbers were monomials, so yes. Take a look at this one though. I have 7a to the negative 3. If I were to rewrite that, I would get 7 over a to the third plus 9b. We know that we cannot divide by a variable, so no, this is not a binomial or a monomial. Okay, take a look at this one. Monomial, 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 monomial. Yes. Monomial, monomial, yes. Turn the page. The degree of a monomial, so just one piece of the term, is the sum of the exponents of all of its variables, not of its constants or its coefficients. So the sum of the exponents of all its variables. Okay? Take a look. This is a monomial. It has multiplication with a bunch of variables, and all we have to do to find its degree is add them up. A by itself is just a to the first, remember? So I have 1 plus 2 plus 11 plus 7 plus 0 plus 21. So 1 plus 2 plus 11 plus 7 plus 0 plus 21. I get 3, 14, 21 plus 21 is 42. So a degree of something is just a number. And when you're talking about monomials, you just add up the exponents. Now the degree of a polynomial is the greatest degree of any term in the polynomial. So all that means is I'm going to take each term, find its degree like I did up here, and I take the biggest one. So look down here. I have 3a squared b to the fifth. I don't have to worry about the 3 because it's not a variable. And I have a squared b to the third. So the degree of that monomial is 5. 2 plus 3 gives me 5. Then I have 6. It's a constant, so it has no degree, or 0. The one I'm concerned with is the biggest one. So I'm going to take this one because it has a degree of 5, which is bigger than 0. So the degree of this polynomial is 5. Okay? So now let's take a look at the next one. The degree of this monomial is 3. The degree of this monomial is 6 because c to the 5th plus, so 5 plus 1, d to the 1st, is 6. And then this one's just a constant, so it's 0. I'm concerned about the bigger one, so I'm going to choose the 6. So the degree of this polynomial is 6. So all you have to do is separate the terms, find each term's degree, and then you pick the one that's biggest. Turn to the next page. Standard form of a polynomial is written in the term, or written with the terms in order from least to great, or greatest to least. So when a polynomial is written with its terms going from greatest to least. So take a look, and we'll put in degree. Take a look here. This is a standard form of a polynomial. I know that the degree of the first one is 3, the degree of the second one is 2, the third one is 1, and the last one is 0. So do you see how they go from greatest to least? That means that my terms are in standard form. Because this is the one that has the greatest, it will come first, and this number out front is called a leading coefficient, because it is a coefficient and it comes first. Now, because this is x to the third, which we know that we didn't have to add anything, we just saw that it had one variable with one exponent, so that was its degree. This is called the greatest degree, because it was the biggest out of all of these. Okay, so write each polynomial in standard form, identify the leading coefficient. So I have 3x squared, the degree is 2, 4x to the 5th, my degree is 5, and 7x by itself, so it's just 1. So I know that the 5 has to come first, so I'm going to rewrite this as 4x to the 5th. This is positive because there's a plus sign in front of it. Then the second one that should come is the degree of 2, because it's the next biggest one. It's positive, so plus 3x squared. And then the last one is that minus 7x. It has to be minus because it has the negative in front of the 7. So this is the standard form, and the 4 is the leading coefficient. And I'm just going to put LC for leading coefficient. Let's take a look at the next one. The degree is 1, 0, 4, 3. So the 4 comes first. Now it's being subtracted, so it's negative. So I have negative 2y to the 4th. The next one is the 3. It's being subtracted. Minus 6y cubed. Plus 5y. The 5 is positive, so we're adding it. Minus 9. So that's standard form, and the negative 2 is my leading coefficient. The negative is included in part of that coefficient. Okay, so then I have a degree of 1, degree of 3, degree of 2, degree of 6, and a degree of 0. Rewrite them in order, so I have negative 7y to the 6th, plus 5y cubed, minus 2y squared, plus y, plus 10. So when they start getting really long like that, you can tick them off and say, okay, I dealt with the 6. The next biggest one is the 3. The next biggest one is the 2, then the 1, and then the 0. Now they're written in that order, and the leading coefficient is the negative 7. that is the end of the section 4 notes. If you have any questions, make sure you let me know, and I will see you tomorrow in class.